More on the developments so far, let's speak now with Oliver McTernan, the co-founder and director of Forward Thinking, a charity that works on conflict resolution and mediation in the Middle East. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we've now had 4 prisoner exchanges taking place. How do you see the developments so far? How fragile is this ceasefire and the situation?
Well, I think both of your correspondents have captured first of all, the high emotion, and I think in a very fragile situation, charged with emotion, it doesn't look promising. I feel the whole procedure is so drawn out that it's full of risks. And when we see scenes like today on both sides and in Gaza, I fear the risk of this unravelling is very, very real.
So you're already seeing risks, huge risks there, but negotiations on the next phase are set to begin next week, very soon. Who do you expect, who can we expect will take part in terms of mediating those talks?
Well, I would imagine it will be the Qataris, assisted by the Egyptians, that would be responsible. I think the role, as I understood it, the role of the Americans is to guarantee what is agreed upon. Now, I think the big problem with this whole system in the last 15 months has been that it's been carried out in the glare of public opinion and comment. And that must make it extremely difficult for the negotiators. Prime Minister Netanyahu is constantly making comments and constantly, if I may add, repeating his first goal in this war, which he clearly stated was to see the total demise of Hamas alongside then the release of the hostages. And for me, if he continues this, he's still continuing 2 goals that are just incompatible. So I'm still worried about his intentions. I'm still worried what's going to happen to the 2.3 million people in Gaza. Are they going to be forced out of their place because of the inhumane conditions now that they're expected to live in? All of these issues are not being addressed. There's no political horizon to these negotiations. It's simply transactional. A number of people released for a number of hostages released. There's no vision of where this is going to take us and what will the future be. So the risk of the cycle of violence continuing, I think, is very, very real.
Indeed, several Middle East diplomats have already voiced opposition to potential forced displacement of Gaza, Palestinians in Gaza. Donald Trump suggested that 2 million of them could be taken in by neighboring countries. What could we see going forward?
Well, I think on a political level, it's just not acceptable. I can't see at present Jordan or even Egypt being able to accommodate such a large number of Palestinian refugees. But I think it would be disastrous for the future if they are forced what I would call involuntary migration because of the circumstances in Gaza. My worry is that it'll be presented as a humanitarian option. People will say, look, we've let you back into the north, we've let you back down into Rafah. You see it's unlivable with. So the humanitarian option is to provide you sort of subsistence in another country. So a ship will come in, or Egypt will be pressurized to open the Sinai. I think this is disastrous. It'll be just a continuation of the cycle of violence. We are not solving the problem. At the end of the day, no one is addressing the root cause of what we've been witnessing over the past 15 months, and that's simply the ongoing occupation of the Palestinian territories, Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and the failure to acknowledge and accept a Palestinian state. Until we have the political courage, I think, to do that at the international level, then what we're witnessing today will be repeated and repeated.
Now, you have been looking at the situation for decades in the Middle East. Is the two-state solution now a faraway dream, do you think?
Well, for me, I think it is the only realistic option. I think to talk about a one state in light of what's happened and in light of the high emotion and mistrust that your correspondents captured earlier on, I think it is just a pipe dream to say that you can have a one state. I think how two states evolve, whether they evolve into a federation, whatever in the future, or indeed one state, is a matter for the people themselves to decide. But I think what we need now is to restore a sense of international order, to act on the Declaration of 48, what's given Israel legitimacy, should also give a Palestinian sovereign independent state legitimacy. Then as two states, it is up to them as to work out the future and what sort of political structure they think would be workable.
To that end, how do you view the political situation in both the Palestinian Authority and in Israel?
I wish I could give you a short answer to that. I think it is really distressing, first of all, to see the disunity that is still in the Palestinian political front, that the split between Hamas, Fatah and other factions, I think is regrettable. And what's needed is a determination now, in light of this horror that they've endured as a people, a determination to get a unified approach and a unified government. I think on the Israeli side, it's equally split. There is profound differences. When I visit the Knesset, I'm very aware of the profound differences in the political vision, but what's holding them together now is the united trauma of what happened on October the 7th. People are holding on because they feel that's the right thing to do in these circumstances. But on both sides, there needs to be a lot of discussion, a lot of trying to discover what is in the best interest of each country and each people. And a fear that lots of the actions being taken and supported by America and other countries, a lot are very short-sighted, immediate solutions that will bring long-term problems.
Now, US President Donald Trump is set to meet the Israeli Prime Minister next week. What role might he play in the next stages now that he has taken office?
Well, my hope would be that Trump will pressurize Netanyahu to make this ceasefire permanent and to get some political horizon, a vision of where we go from here. We cannot see a repetition of this. I look on Trump as the first American president to not wear the dress of principles. He is frank in what he sees as his priority, and what he sees as his priority in foreign policy and in the Middle East is the domestic interests of America. And those domestic interests were once summed up to me by a CIA analyst who said it's economic. And I think being transactional, what he will try and do is to find an economic solution for the region that will benefit, first and foremost, American domestic interests. To do this, I hope the Saudis will stand firm on their commitment that they will only normalize if they see the establishment of a Palestinian state. So if Trump, I think, goes down this road, then I'm hopeful. If he thinks that he can deport the Palestinians, that all of these issues, I think he is going to just add to the problems that we've been witnessing over the past 75 years.
Oliver McTernan, Director of Forward Thinking, thank you so much for your insight.